everybody, welcome back to the Bluegrass Farmer. It's finally March here in the state of Kentucky, and I'm tickled to death that warmer weather is finally on the way. Trying to get out as much picking videos as I can for you all. Planting season's getting ready to start, and farming's getting ready to get back in full swing again. So might have to lay the old piece of wood up for a little while until I can get some things done and everything. But I wanted to share two things with y'all real quick before we got into the main video today. Number one, if you have the March edition to the Bluegrass Unlimited magazine, they feature just about the whole entire magazine on Tony Rice. So if you collect stuff with Tony Rice, you need to get this, because it's got some great stuff in there, a lot of things that I didn't even know about. I'm still reading on it. So it's a great piece of history to have, to put up, and I'm going to try to find some extra copies where I can just keep them for old time's sake and everything. So be sure to check that out. Also, April the 10th, at the Bluegrass Museum in Owensboro, Kentucky, Dan Tyminski is going to be there that night with a band, and Miss Bluegrass Farmer and myself. We're going to be there that night. So if you are going to the Dan Tyminski show at the 8 o'clock show on April the 10th, and if you recognize me, definitely come up and say, hey, I would love to talk with you and meet with you and everything like that. So again, we'll be there at the 8 o'clock show. I think he's having two shows that day. So I think one's at 5 and the other one's at 8. So we'll be there for the late show. So yeah, if you see me, come on by and shake and howdy with me. We'll do a little talking and stuff. So you probably won't recognize me with a mask on, but I'll have a United States flag mask on. So yeah, come on by and check that out. The video you're about to see after this is don't joke around unless you're serious. And I think you're going to find this video really interesting. Some people know the story that I'm about to tell, others don't. But there was a time that I almost went professional, and you're going to be interested to know what band I was getting ready to play in. So sit back and enjoy this portion of the video. It was in about 1988. In Richmond, Kentucky. I went into a music store, which I usually frequent because I went to college at Eastern Kentucky University for a while, and there at the music store we would always go in and I would try out instruments and things like that. Well, it just so happened that day that I went in, and he had some new banjos that he wanted me to try. So I went in and started playing one of the banjos, and was just playing and stuff like that. And later on, there was this lady that came out from the back, and she asked the gentleman, who was playing the banjo, and of course he pointed to me. So she came over and introduced herself, and her name was Wanda Barnett, and she said she played with the Coon Creek Girls. Well, as soon as she came out, I knew, I didn't know her personally, but I knew that she played with the Coon Creek Girls. Well, she just so happened to have been in the back of the music store giving fiddle lessons, and she was like, really just, I had to figure out who was playing the banjo and stuff. I really like your style and things like that. And jokingly, I just, kind of semi-jokingly, I told her, I said, well, if you know anybody that's needing a banjo player or whatever for a band, I'd like to go professional and try that. And it just so happened, she said, well, I do have a gentleman that is interested in finding a banjo player, and I think your style would fit exactly what he's looking for. So she said, I don't have his number here, but she said, if you will, call me Sunday, which this was on a Saturday. She said, call me Sunday. She gave me her number and everything. And she said, call me Sunday afternoon, and I'll give you his name and number. You can call him. So I said, that's great. So Sunday afternoon came, and of course I called her, and this gentleman picked up the phone and said hello, and I said, this is, Mark Richardson, I'm looking for Wanda Barnett. And he said, yeah, hold on just a second. So she come to the phone, and she said, "You know who that was on the phone?" And I said, "Well, I have no idea." She goes, "That was Larry Stevenson." And I said, "Oh, that's cool." So she said, "He's here in town, going to do a show or something down in Renfro Valley or somewhere. I can't remember, but he was in town for something." So she gave me the name and number to a gentleman by the name of Tim Austin. And of course, after I got off the phone with her, made the phone call, and the gentleman answered the phone, and I said, "This is Mark Richardson. I'm looking for Tim Austin." He said, "Well, hey, this is Tim." And I said, "Wanda Barnett gave me your number and said that you may be interested in the banjo player." And he said, "Oh yeah." I said, "I've already talked to Wanda, and he said she really thinks that you might be the fit-in with this with the band that we got going." And I said, "This is great." And I said, "It's something I'm looking for." I said, "Are you progressive? What's the deal?" And he said, "Oh, we're definitely progressive." And I said, "Well, that's great." He said, "Let me ask you a question. Do you sing?" And I said, "Well, I sing all the parts, but I said I can sing lead, tenor, baritone, but I said I'm not a bass singer at all." And he said, "Well, that's perfect. That'll work out great." And I said, "Well, who all's in this band?" I said, "Who do you have already in the band itself?" He said, "Well, I play guitar." And he said, "I don't sing." He said, "I'm strictly guitar player." He said, "You'll be singing the parts or lead or whatever," but he said, "You'll be singing." But he said, "I strictly play the guitar." But he said, "I don't know if you know these guys or not," but he said, on the mandolin, he said, "We got a gentleman by the name of Dan Tominski that'll be playing the mandolin." He does quite a bit of the singing. And I said, "No, I don't think I've heard of him." He said, "Well, you probably haven't." He said, "But Dan Tominski's going to be on the mandolin." And he said, "We got an electric bass player, and his name is Ronnie Bowman." And I said, "Well, now I think I've heard of that name before." And he said, "Well, he used to play with Lost and Found." And I said, "Well, that's probably where I heard him from. I think I remember him playing guitar or something with Lost and Found when he's playing." But he said, "Ronnie Bowman's going to be playing the bass." And he said, "If we pick you, you'll be the banjo player in the group if you try out and you get it and everything like that." And I said, "Well, that sounds pretty good." And I said, "Well, when do you need to know all of this?" And he said, "Well, I'm going to give you a week to think about it, figure out what you want to do." And I said, that's fine." He said, "The only stipulations that we're going to have is you're probably going to have to move to Farron, Virginia." He said, "During the spring and summer, you'll be fine. We'll be touring. You'll won't have a problem with maybe with a job." But he said, "During the winter, off season," he said, "you'll probably have to find another job to supplement your income while we're on the hiatus off the road and stuff like that." So I said, "Okay." And I said, "Well, what's the name of the group, by the way?" And he said, "Well, the name of the band is Lonesome River Band." I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, that's a good group, a good name for a band." And I said, "I'll tell you what, let me do some studying on this, and I'll get back with you." So hung up the phone with him, and my mind was going 10,000 miles an hour. I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? I was engaged to Miss Bluegrass Farmer at the time, and so I had my ducks pretty well in a row what I wanted to do with that. I definitely wanted to get married. We just had acquired the family farm, so we just started with the farm, working with that, or I had. So I had 10,000 emotions running through my mind as far as what I was going to do, how I was going to do it. I will say this, that Miss Bluegrass Farmer was behind me 120%. She said, "If that's what you want to do, you do it." She said, "I'll go where you go." And she said, I'll be right there for you and with you." And I said, "Okay." So to make a long story maybe a little longer, I did a lot of soul searching that whole week, and a lot of times contemplating on what I wanted to do, what I was going to have to do. So I came to my final decision that week, and I called Tim back on a Sunday, and I told him, I said, "Tim, I've done a lot of soul searching and thinking, and I said, I'm gonna have to cancel out on you." I said, "I just can't see myself picking up and moving to Fern, Virginia, and then having to try to find a job and things like that during the off season. And I said, I think I'm just going to be better off doing what I'm doing and stay here. And Tim was a very cordial gentleman. He was like, man, I totally understand where you're coming from. Don't feel bad or anything like that. He said, later on, if it doesn't, you know, things don't, you change your mind or whatever, he said, you've got my number, you call me. He said, you never know. We still may need you down the road. And he said, you feel free to call me. But he said, I totally understand from where you're coming from and everything. So the question I get a whole lot is, of course, looking back, do I regret not going with the Lonesome River Band? And my answer has always been no. I do not regret doing it. The path that was before me worked out great. I'm just thankful that I had the opportunity that I could possibly play with the Lonesome River Band at one time. But looking back, I am thankful that I've stayed my course and I did what I was going to do, and it all worked out for the best for me. And for everybody wanting to know, me and Miss Bluegrass Farmer, we did get married in 1989, or I'm going to be messed up here, 1990. We did get married in 1990, so we've been married for 31 years. 31 years coming in March here. So, you know, the old saying that I always say is never kid about something unless you're really serious about it, because it may come back on you. And it came back on me that day in Richmond, Kentucky, when I told him, yeah, you know, I'll go professional. I'm ready to hit the road and do it. Well, you know, I had that chance. I had that chance of going with the Lonesome River Band, and now look at them. Look what they're doing now. I mean, but I found out later on that since I didn't take the job, that and like I say, I'm going back many years now. I think Dale Perry took the spot I was going to take, and then Sammy Schuler come in. Dale Perry came in just for a short time to do a CD. Tim did mention to me that they were going to go in the studio and do a project, and if they picked me, I was going to be on the CD with them. At the time, or back then it was cassette tapes. So I was going to do that, but I think Dale Perry came in and took the spot for a while that I didn't play. And then of course Sammy Schuler came in and started playing the banjo, and still playing with him today. So the old saying is never kid about something unless you're serious, because it'll come back on you. And I learned a lesson that day 30 some odd years ago. And but I don't regret it at all. I'm glad I made the decision that I made, and it's I mean, you think back, where would you be today, you know, if you had joined, and if I had played with Dan Tominski and all the guys and everything, you know, could I have been the next George Clooney on Oh Brother Where Art Thou? You know, who knows? You never know what your path is, but the path I took, I'm very happy with it. So that's kind of the story of how I almost went professional with the Lonesome River Band. Okay, friends, there you have it. The story itself of how I almost went professional. So I appreciate you hanging with me to the very end of the video to see what all had happened and everything. But you never know in life what might come up, and I'll never say never. So you know, if there's another band out there or a group that says, you know, hey, you know, we could use the Bluegrass Farmer with this, you know, we like what he's doing and his style and things like that, I'll never say never. But I'll definitely give it a thought if I'm asked, and shoot you a straight line. I'll flat tell you real quick, yay or nay, and see how we do with that. But anyway, that's the video for today. Appreciate y'all being with me. Hope to see you in Owensboro, Kentucky at the Bluegrass Museum on April the 10th. and we'll be doing more videos later on. Got some more picking stuff. Got some new stuff too I want to show you all later on too. Going to start, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag yet, so I'm not going to say, but I've got some stuff lined up that I think you all will enjoy later on, so I'm going to keep it under wraps for right now. Alright folks, thank you all for being with me today. As always, stay safe, keep your fingers loose and your strings tight, and thanks for watching the Bluegrass Farmer.